What's up, Spurs fans? Game 7 is tonight between the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be at the Paycom Center. Whoever wins will advance to the NBA Finals. I cannot wait. We're just a few hours away from tip-off. This is your Spurs practice report. This is Shivam Patel, and this should be a really great matchup. After the Spurs dominated the Thunder at the Frost Bank Center in Game 6, 118-91, led by Victor Wembanyama, who had 26 points. He bounced back after having a really rough Game 5, and the Spurs overall made 15 three-pointers. 8 of those three-pointers were in the first quarter, and then once the Thunder made the game close at halftime, in the second half, in the third quarter, the Spurs had a 20-0 run and were at one time up by as many as 28 points and put the Thunder away to force a Game 7, which is going to be tonight. And I just cannot rave enough about the defensive performance Stephon Castle has put together on the two-time MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's only shooting 37% from the field when he's typically above 50%. He's just been hounding him all over the court, forcing him into turnovers, getting the ball out of his hands and forcing the other Thunder players to beat the Spurs. And so far, that strategy has been working well, especially in the wins. Alex Caruso had that big game, as well as the Thunder role players played well in Game 3 and 5. But overall, they've done a really good job of mitigating this Thunder offense and making life tough on them because the Spurs are one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And then what about Dylan Harper? Earlier this series, he was hampered by an injury. He was also really good in Game 6. He was aggressive, getting to his spots, attacking the basket, also playing very physical, tough defense. If we can get that Dylan Harper tonight, as well as Stephon Castle, to go along with Wemby, who we expect to play really well because he rises up in big games, the Thunder, as good as their defense are going to have a lot of trouble stopping this potent San Antonio Spurs offense. Also, another key to the game was that they did a really good job on the boards. They won the rebounding battle as well as assisting. They did a really good job of moving the ball on offense and getting everybody involved, and they led the Thunder in assists and also points off turnovers. So let's get to keys for tonight's game. First of all, number one is Wemby's aggression. All the games that the Spurs have won, Game 1, Game 4, Game 6, Wemby has been coming out of the gate super aggressive, looking for his shots. I know he played a lot of minutes in Game 1, but so far he hasn't had to play those kind of minutes so far in the series. But let's see if he has the energy to be able to really take over on the opposite side of the ball. He's going to have to. He's going to have to get to the mid-range, also get to the foul line, attack the basket, and then when he does shoot threes, he needs to make them because then that will draw the Thunder off the defense out to the perimeter and will open up driving lanes for the rest of the Spurs players. So that is number one. Number two is, how do the Spurs win the non-Wemby minutes? That has been the key so far in the series. The games that they've lost, they've not won the non-Wemby minutes. The games that they won, they have. Luke Kornet had his best game of the series in Game 6 because on that 20-0 run, the Spurs were without Wemby. Luke Kornet was on the floor for a lot of those points. So he was awesome defensively, protecting the rim, also on offense, setting good screens, catching the ball, dunking it, and then also getting offensive rebounds. So he needs to play big tonight because he's the only other big that the Spurs have. And then Carter Bryant came in and he can play some at the 4 as well with Luke Kornet. He had a big, ferocious dunk in Game 6. So if the Spurs can continue to win those non-Wemby minutes, then that allows when Wemby does come on the floor for him to, first of all, be more rested and more fresh. It also allows him to dominate and makes the Thunder tired as well. Also, for the Spurs, the game is going to be on the road tonight, so there's going to be a raucous crowd at Oklahoma City. Those fans get pretty rowdy, cannot turn the ball over. Castle, who had 20 turnovers after the first 2 games of this series, mostly because he had to play the point guard because Harper and Fox were out. He needs to take care of the ball as well as the rest of the team. Do not let Oklahoma City get points off of turnovers because then that will fuel their offense, make them play in the half court against a really good Spurs defense. And then lastly, I would like to see a big game from De'Aaron Fox. I know he's been hampered by the high ankle sprain, and you could see it does bother him, but he did a good job of getting to his spots in game six, but he just couldn't finish a couple of those layups and a couple of those mid-range shots that is his staple. So if he can make a couple plays, not only for himself, but drawing the defense in and kicking it out to wide open shooters, that would be really key because he is the oldest player on the Spurs team. He's the most veteran player. He has played in a game seven before in his career, back when he was with the Kings when they lost to the Warriors. So he has some experience a little bit in the playoffs, but we need a big De'Aaron Fox game. And overall, I think the Spurs should be feeling confident about where they stand. They've been playing toe to toe with one of the best teams in the NBA, the defending champs. This series has been the heavyweight series that we've all been expecting. And then lastly, before I wrap up, I'll just talk about the injuries. Jalen Williams for the Thunder, who played in game six, but you saw he wasn't right and he was still limping. He is out for game seven. And then so far on the Spurs, there's been no injuries. Everybody should be 100% healthy coming into this game, which you'd like to see. You would like to see mano a mano, the best players on both teams, be 100%. Overall, I do believe the Spurs are going to win tonight on the road because they've shown that they can rise up to the big moments. They can win on the road in very tough environments like the Portland Trailblazers arena, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and overall this team, I believe Spurs are just as hungry, just as talented as the Thunder. Their young players have done a really good job stepping up, and the Spurs are going to live up to the moment. And I believe that they're going to get this game. It's going to be very close down the stretch, but Wemby's going to make some huge shots, and then they're going to get huge defensive stops and the Spurs in the fourth quarter, and the Spurs will advance to the NBA Finals. This is your Game 7 practice report. Shivam Patel reporting to you live. Thank you so much for watching.